Solving for time and temperature. So I want to do the time first. Let's talk about it. And whenever we talk about time, we talk about standard time in America, right? We say AM, PMs. When you go overseas, they call it different things, but it's military time or 24-hour clock time. And it's used in the health profession a lot too as well. So whenever we talk about the military, or also known as the 24-hour clock time, I want to give you a little helpful hint that might help you. If the numbers, okay, so first things first, the first two digits in the 24-hour military time is hours. The next two digits is minutes. So let's look at the hours just for a moment. If the hours are 00 to 12, then we know that it's AM up to the 12 p.m. Okay. If it's from, let's say 13 to 24, well, this is all PMs. Okay. So 13 represents 1 o'clock because it came after 12 p.m. So 12 p.m. we know is noon. So this is just a little helpful note. So let's talk about it. What time is 5:15 a.m. in military time? So if it's a.m., we know that it's going to fall in this category. If 00 starts a day, then 01 would be 1 a.m., right? So that helps me. I know that it's 05. And then the minutes is 15. So we're going to say 05:15. So now let's look at the 11:37 p.m. So PM told me it's going to fall in this category. The 11 tells me that it is right before midnight, right? Because 2,400 hours, 24 hours in a day falls at midnight in America. Okay, I know overseas it's a little different. So if it's 11, then I know that it should be 23, it should be on the last hour of the day. And then the minutes is 37. Okay, so now I'm going to actually solve an application problem. So we have a science fair and it begins at 8 a.m. on a Friday. In order to be ready to present your project, you must prepare 15.8 hours before the event. So I want to know what time will that be in military time and standard time, and what day of the week is that? So I will come back here and make me a little note. The event is on Friday and it starts at 8 a.m. All right, so let's look at this. 15.8 hours. All right, I know the number in front of the decimal is the hours. The number behind the decimal, yes, it is hours, but it's a portion of the hours. It's not a whole of an hour. Like 15 is a whole 15 hours. So we need to convert 0.8 hours into minutes. And what do I know? I know for every 1 hour, that's 60 minutes. I'm going to show you the dimensional analysis setup, and then I'll show you the shortcut, okay? So 0.8 hours, I'm going to put it over 1 because we're just talking about that one set. And I need the hours to reduce. So I need this here go on bottom. And I need minutes on top because my answer needs to be in minutes. So now I have 0.8 times 60, which is 48 minutes. So now I got 15 hours and 48 minutes. Shortcut. Let's show you the shortcut right quick. Let me erase this little side note over here. What is my shortcut? My shortcut is, I know that I got 0.8 hours, and in the place of hours, I can put 60 minutes. And there you go. All right. So now I got 15 hours and 48 minutes before the event. So what we need to do is we need to take this here, this 8 a.m. and write it in standard time, military time, however. And I'm going to say 1548 minus 08 0, or you can say 0800 minus 15, because we're going backwards, right? Are we not? So when I subtract it, I say 8 minus 0 is 8. 4 minus 0 is 4. 5 minus 8, oh, I can't do that. So I have to borrow from this one, and I make that a 15. So 15 minus 8 is 7, right? So now what do I have? I have 0748. That 07 tells me it's AM, 7.48 AM, right? And okay, so standard time. Let's write that in military or 24-hour clock time. And what day of the week is it? Well, if the event's on Friday and we've started 15 hours before that time, that means we started on Thursday. Okay. So now let's look at the science fair ended at 3 p.m. on Friday. Cleanup will take 4.3 hours after the fair. So 1500 is when it ended, right? And 4.3 hours later, well, I'm going to go ahead and line up the 0.04 because we know it's in front of the decimal. We know it's the hour, the complete hour. 0.3 hours needs to be converted to minutes. So, I mean, you can still set it up like this, guys, until you get comfortable with it. But just note that it is 0.3 times 60 minutes. The hours reduce automatically and leaves me with 18 minutes. So 0, 4, 18. Let's add this up. So 1918 is when we should be done, when everything's over, right? Clean up and everything, you're leaving. And what time of the day is that? Well, if 15 is 3 p.m., right? 14 will be 16. 15 will be 3 is 15. 4 will be 16. 5 will be 17. Kind of get the pattern. You got it. Now, eventually this will be so easy for you that you won't have to sit and do all that. But you are starting out, so I don't expect you to be quick with it. But by the end of the semester, this should be no problem. Actually, by the midterms, this should be no problem. And we're still on the same day of the week, right? Cleanup didn't roll into a new day, so we're still on Friday. So now let's talk about temperature. So when I talk about the temperature, it says that for Arkansas, it was 65 degrees. I want you to convert it to Celsius. Well, the formula for Fahrenheit is going to be 9/5 Celsius plus 32. Okay, this is what this is the exact notation of it. But if you was to divide 9/5 by, or 9 by 5, I'll spit this out right, guys, please forgive me. 9 divided by 5 is 1.8. So if we was to just write this, we can actually just go, okay, like this. So I'm going to encourage you to memorize this. I just wanted you to know where that 1.8 came from, okay? This is the one I'm going to use. So I am trying to figure out what is Celsius. Well, that's Fahrenheit's formula. So Celsius formula would be Fahrenheit minus the 32 all divided by the 1.8, okay? So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to plug in the 65 minus 32. And this is why basic math is very important. We have to subtract the top first before we can divide. We have to clean it up. We have to clean that fraction up. Usually division comes before subtracting, but if it's written in a fraction, we have to clean it up first. So now I have 33 divided by 1.8. And then I'm just going to say divided by 1.8, and that gives me a decimal. I'm going to put approximation because I'm going to round to the nearest tenths. Okay, always round to the nearest tenths on temperature unless told otherwise, okay? So now this is all for our Fahrenheit. So we know Fahrenheit is going to be 1.8 times our Celsius plus the 32. What is 1.8 times? Oh, this should have been Celsius, guys. Let's just flip that to Celsius, okay? Let's flip it to Celsius. My apologies. So let's plug it in like that. So I have 1.8 times 33 plus 32. We're going to round to the nearest tenths, and in this case, it just gave it to us in the nearest tenths. So it's 91.4 degrees Fahrenheit. So it'd be kind of warm outside. So that is time and temperature.